Hello everyone, in this video I want to work on this computer skill lecture with you guys, and we're mainly looking at the business school of Asian Pacific. And so for the data set, we're including the starting salary, the tuition between local and foreign tuitions, and then whether the MBA program require working experience or English test. So all the 25 schools we're gonna see in the spreadsheet are from Asia. And so for this exercise, we kind of try to understanding if any of the factor that are in related to the MBA education are actually have some kind of positive correlation with our starting salaries. So we want to use in leveraging all kind of numeric descriptive statistics to help us answer that question. So since for this video and the following ones, it just really try to teach you the computer part of the exercise. So we are focusing on how to use Excel to developing different kind of numeric descriptive statistics to addressing the question listed on this handout. However, I want to really emphasize that you will spend quality time to actually staring at those numbers to understand, okay, what kind of business insight you can derive from those numbers. Because I just don't want a student just stare to just show me, okay, mean, median, mode of your data, but there's no insight involved, because I don't need you to just like calculate mean, median, mode to tell me, okay, means this, median this, standard deviation is that. I actually really looking forward to understand, okay, how you connecting the data you found with some kind of actual insight to making sense. Okay, so first for this video, we will demonstrating how can we calculate mean, median, mode, standard deviation, range, skewness of each quantitative variables. Okay, for the categorical data, we are not able to calculate mean, median, mode, etc. So we only can do numeric descriptive statistics for the quantitative variables. And so in this video, we are focusing on how can we use called the data descriptive statistic function from your Excel to very quickly getting all the statistics you need. And so at the end, in a separate video, I will demonstrate how actually can you use individual functions to calculate mean, median, mode, standard deviation, skewness one by one. Okay, so in this video, we focus on getting all of them by one click. Now let's look at our Excel spreadsheet you downloaded. So in this Excel spreadsheet, as I mentioned, that we are having all the columns data. So those are my variables, and they are used to characterize each one of my element. The element here is business school, and each name, like so for the University of New South Wales. So this is called element's name, right? We learned in our first module. And now what we're gonna do is we want to get a mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and a skewness for all my quantitative variables. As you notice that my starting salary is the other quantitative variable, which is separated by my categorical data. So for our first method, that is using data descriptive statistics to getting those mean, median, mode by one click. You need to make sure all your quantitative data are next to each other. So one way you can do it is you can copy the whole H to J column and paste it next to and paste it right next to the salary, and then select H, I, and the J column and then delete them. So now you make all your quantitative variable next to each other. So that's a very important step, because you want to have all your quantitative variable next to each other, because for our first question, we try to get a mean, median, mode for all my quantitative variables. So it's more efficient to move all of your quantitative variable next to each other. So after you do that, so in our module 1, we talk about how to add in the Excel data analysis this tab. So if you click your Excel, you don't see this, that means you didn't watch that video in our first module, computer skills. You have to go back and watch that video to learn how to adding Excel add-ins, data analysis to your Excel. Okay, so you need to watch that. For this one, I assume you'll watch that one, so you are able to, under the data tab, you are able to see the data analysis. Okay, you will be able to see the data analysis. So click data analysis, and then we are going to find that there is one tool called the descriptive statistics. And after you do that, and you click OK. Okay, so first of all, you need to fill in the input range. So the input range is basically tell computer where's your data set. And so click this little up arrow, means you are selecting your data. And then select from B1 to H26. So basically you're selecting all your quantitative data, including the labels. And then click this little arrow. And then as you notice that when I selecting this data, I have first row are null numbers. So you need to make sure you check this box, label in first row. And then I will place my result in a new data tab called the descriptive statistic. And then don't forget to check this box called the summary statistics, because this allow you to get a mean, median, mode, etc. In one Excel output. And after you do that, you can click OK. As you notice that I adding a new data tab on the bottom called descriptive statistic. So in this tab, everything are for my descriptive statistics. Let me enlarge it. Okay, so we have our information related to the enrollment, related to student per faculty, local tuition, foreign tuition, age, foreign percent of foreign student, and the starting salary, right? So we have everything we needed. So the only thing I usually do is like I want to keep my number easy to read, and it depends on the question you're working with. So for instance, let's say we want to looking for all the number, keep 2 decimal places. So what you can do is select all the numbers, and then right click the mouse called format cells. Okay, and then after you do that, you click number, and then 2 decimal place, select number and 2 decimal place, click OK. So now you can see all the number I'm showing you here are only have 2 decimal places. Okay, now as you read through the numbers, you are able to see mean, right? Mean and median, standard deviation, and skewness, minimum and max the range. Right, as you see, we have everything we needed for each one of our quantitative data. So this is a very efficient way when you are just trying to get an overstance of all your quantitative data. So this is a fast way to get a mean, median, standard deviation, skewness, range by one click. And then, like I said, when you're getting this result, the most important thing for our class is not, oh, the mean is 165 for full-time enrollment, or median is 126. So I don't need you to reading those numbers for me because I can read the table. However, when I try to ask, what's your insight? So your insight has to be something you find interesting from this output, right? So for instance, when I'm looking at this insight, this data, and I was very curious about, oh, our age, on average, the age is 28 years old. So that means not all of our students, on average, our students are not the student who just graduated from college, right? If they just graduated from college, they will be around 24, 25. Our mean is 28 and median is 29. So you understand, like a lot of students actually are not are college graduate, directly graduated. So they might have worked certain period of time before they go into the MBA program, right? And then the second is look at the minimum and the maximum. So for the age, the minimum is 22. So those are the students right after college, right? 22. And we also have a student who are no older than 37. So it seems like a lot of MBA students in those Asian colleges, they are before their mid-age, right? Before they become mid-age. So those are interesting facts. Similarly, if you look at the tuitions, what's interesting is about the foreign tuition, right, versus local tuition. Local tuition is $4,000 less on average. However, when we pay attention on the range, so both tuition have the same range. And if you look at minimum and the maximum, so basically for the local and the foreign tuition, the cheapest local tuition also equivalent to the lowest foreign tuition. The high local tuition equal to the highest foreign tuition. What makes they are different is, first of all, on average, foreign tuition is higher than the local tuition. And the second, if you look at the skewness, right? So local tuition is skewed to the right, and the foreign tuition is skewed to the left. So in the class, we're talking about when we have the skew to the right, that means we have a majority of the people are paying less than the median. So basically for the local tuition, most of the students are paid less than $11,000. Since for the skill for our foreign tuition is a skill moderately skewed to the right, so it means majority students are paid very close to $117,000, but we have relatively more slightly more student pay more than $17,665. So that's the difference between local tuition versus foreign tuition, right? So those are interesting facts I want you, or the insight I want you to derive versus you just reading the numbers. So like I said, I don't need you to read the numbers for me. Oh, mean equal to this, standard deviation equal to that. The insight means something interesting, and you can explaining sort of you use your intuition to explaining what's going on with those numbers. Okay, so that is about insight.